Welcome to another episode of Let's Chat With. Joining me is vegan culinary artist, certified holistic nutritionist, author, and Kent, Ohio's own Nowel Addishin. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you're a vegan. How long have you been a vegan for?
Oh, wow. It'll be 13 years since I've been vegan.
What was your reason for going vegan?
I decided to go vegan because I was diagnosed with systemic lupus back in 2010. And of course, with having an autoimmune disease, it caused so many different ailments, such as issues with my heart, my liver, my lungs, and all kinds of other stuff. So I decided to adopt a plant-based lifestyle just so I could feel better because the symptoms of lupus were just horrendous. And fast forward 2 years later, after becoming plant-based, I had a clean bill of health, and I decided to keep that lifestyle throughout the duration of my life. So health reasons were the reason why I decided to go vegan.
What was it like when you told people that you were going vegan?
Oh my gosh. So I grew up in a household where veganism was kind of like saying, "Hey guys, I'm an alien from outer space." You know, my family kind of looked at me like, "Oh, you're just going through a phase. You're going through something. How can you survive without eating meat? You need meat to survive." So it was pretty lonely. It was a very lonely road. Especially when I did decide to go vegan. A lot of the options that we have now did not exist. So I had to really, really dig deep down and figure out my why and my purpose with becoming vegan. But definitely I was looked upon as a weirdo for sure.
Why did you want to become a chef?
Oh, I never thought about being a chef. It wasn't until I started my journey with veganism and kind of cooking and kind of doing different twists on different things because I wanted to make sure my palate was I was able to eat and enjoy the things that I wanted to eat, even though it was vegan. So I shared a lot of my journey on social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So a lot of people they loved my food pics. So they were like, "Do you cook for other people? Do you do meal preps?" And I said, "No, I just cook for myself." I never thought about cooking for others. And it wasn't until I had one person that pretty much begged me to cook for them. And I said, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll give it a shot." And it turned into that person referring other people to me and so on and so on. And that is how I became a chef, just from sharing my gift and sharing what I do with others.
Who taught you how to cook?
My grandmother. My grandmother was from Beaumont, Texas. So she loved a really deep Southern cuisine. So a lot of things that I learned was from watching her in the kitchen. She taught me by being able to watch her. She taught me how to cook.
What's your favorite dish to make?
My favorite dish to make is probably my famous vegan mac and cheese. That is like my signature dish or my signature. I don't really consider it a dish, it's more of a side dish, but vegan mac and cheese for sure. If I had to say an entire plate or an entire dish, it's called my soul plate. So it includes my vegan mac and cheese, sauteed veggies, barbecued cauliflower, or fried oyster mushrooms, and sweet potatoes.
What do you say to people who think being vegan is just eating 3 salads a day?
Oh my gosh, I would tell them to explore so much more. Veganism is definitely more than just eating 3 salads a day. We have so many different options now. Even if you were to just strictly stay plant-based without adding in the processed vegan foods like seitan or tofu or Beyond Meat or anything like that. But even if you just stick to just the simple things like vegetables, like your beans, your peppers, your lettuce, your mushroom. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can create different foods that are not salads. I probably rarely eat salads. I don't eat a lot of salad.
What advice do you have for someone that wants to become vegan?
My advice would be to truly listen to your body. Take your time. For some people, I know for me, when I decided to go vegan, I kind of decided to do it. I went in stages. So, for example, I stopped eating chicken first, and then it was fish, and then it was cheese. Or if you want, you can just do it straight up. But to me, I feel like just be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, explore, work in your kitchen, be a scientist. Your kitchen is your lab. So that is where you want to experiment. You don't have to necessarily go by complete recipes off of the internet. You could just decide, you know what, I feel like I want to do this with that. And that's how you create your own signature pieces and you start to enjoy veganism a little bit more as well.
Why do you think more people are becoming vegetarian or vegan?
I would say probably because definitely their health. Sometimes people see a difference with how they feel once they decide to go plant-based, either with vegetarianism or veganism, especially with dairy. A lot of individuals are lactose intolerant. We get a little gas and stuff like that when we consume dairy. So, even just the small steps, I think people are interested in being more connected with their bodies, with who they are. And then also, once they see the process with, harming and killing animals just to get that simple hamburger or to get something from the fast food place down the street. There's just so much torture and torment that goes into eating meat. So I think people are just becoming more connected with that and just being more connected with their bodies as well too.
Before moving to Kent, Ohio, you lived in Compton, California. What was it like
Yeah.
being a vegan in Compton?
Oh my gosh. What's it like being a vegan in Compton? I would definitely say it was challenging. There's a lot of food insecurities in inner cities or places, that don't have access to healthy and nutritious foods and, things like that. So it definitely was challenging, but I made it work because I was determined. It's really just about knowing how to shop in your local grocery stores, where to shop, where to get your produce. And like I said, it's all about being an explorer and just experimenting with different things. But I will say it was challenging for sure.
Now you're living in Kent, Ohio. What is your city's vegan, vegetarian, plant-based food scene like?
The food scene in Kent, Ohio. So Kent is it's kind of a small community, I like to say it's kind of like in the country. But the food scene out here, I think it could be a lot better. Of course, it's not like Los Angeles or Chicago or your bigger cities, but I think there's definitely room for improvement for different vegan options here. I mean, they're really big on Mediterranean food out here, ironically. So Mediterranean food, Indian food. Really, I cook a lot for myself here. But the scene, it has some opportunities. I'm confident that in a few years it'll grow a little bit more.
You and previous guest, Chef Teresa Stone, competed against each other on the YouTube series Top Vegan. Have you ever competed in something like that before?
Never. That was my very first time ever competing in anything, especially being recorded or placed. I've never done anything like that before.
What was it like going up against Teresa?
She was awesome. I think honestly, going up against, I don't really like saying that, but I learned so much from different, the different competitors there. Teresa, I never knew anyone could bake bread in under 30 minutes. That was something I was like, whoa, that's super impressive. And just looking at the different styles and different ideas that people had there, it was truly inspiring. So I would say working with Teresa or competing against Teresa, it was more so of an experience and a learning experience that I would truly cherish.
What did you learn from the competition?
Oh my gosh. So definitely time management was the biggest thing I learned in the competition. I'm so used to cooking at my own pace. And kind of doing my own thing. So not being pressured in that sense. So learning time management was one of the biggest things that I learned. Also, not being afraid to think outside the box. That was the biggest thing for me as well, too. And taking leaps and doing things that I would never thought that I would never do with food. So those were the two things, is being time management and thinking outside the box.
Besides being a vegan culinary artist, you're also a certified holistic nutritionist. What is a certified holistic nutritionist, and how did you become one?
Absolutely. So a certified holistic nutritionist is one individual who, let's say if you came in as my client, not only am I here to educate you on how to better feed your body with foods that are literally plant-based and natural and things that are from the earth, but it's more so for you to understand your eating habits and your relationship with food. To me, I feel like when we have, we either eat when we're happy, when we're sad, when we're joyful, all of these things. If someone dies, we eat. If someone is born, we eat. If someone had a great grade on a project, we eat. So eating is always a part of what we do. So to me, I like to help people understand their relationships with food and making better decisions with eating more from the earth than grabbing a bag of chips or grabbing a soda pop. I could even teach you how to make soda. Like if you have a craving for Sprite, hey, we can do sparkling water, agave, a splash of lime, and boom, you have a natural Sprite there. So it's just more so about teaching people how to eat and how to eat for their health as well too.
You're an author of 2 books called Throw Some Greens on That Shit. The second one called So You're Interested in Giving Up Meat. Can you tell me about the books?
Okay. Well, throw some greens on that shit. It's one of my smaller recipe books, and it has pretty much different spins on the things that we did like to eat before we became vegan. So, like fried chicken, or I have a strawberry shortcake. I have mac and cheese in there. I have Alfredo. So pretty much it's just different spins on the foods that we enjoyed eating. And so you're interested in giving up meat. So that is literally a step-by-step guide to an individual who is thinking about going vegan or want to explore that. And I lay it all out for the individual. They have meal plans, they have their why to wanting to become vegan, their purpose, basically exploring their relationship with food, giving them resources on where to find things even when they're out traveling, because that's one of the biggest questions that people have. When I'm out traveling, what do I eat? Because I can't always eat at home. What can I eat there? So even giving them different resources and what restaurants to try out while they're out, that's all in. So you're interested in giving up meat. I want people to have a sense of belonging and a sense of confidence when they're making that decision, and that helps with that.
With everything you've done, you've received 2 Vegan Foodie Choice Awards. What are the Vegan Foodie Choice Awards, and what was it like winning them?
Yes, so I did win 2. I won one for the city of Columbus and one for the city of Cleveland. The Vegan Foodie Choice Awards basically gives people an opportunity to vote who their favorite chef or cook. And I was up against other individuals and other restaurants as well too, which was a huge thing for me. So I don't have a brick and mortar. And so being chosen to receive a Vegan Foodie Choice Award twice, that was very fulfilling. It was surprising as well too, because like I said, I don't have a brick and mortar. I'm not from Ohio, but individuals who have tried my food and they really believed in it and they voted me and I received it. So extremely, extremely exciting.
So they're sort of like the vegan version of the James Beard Awards, right?
There you go. Absolutely.
With your cooking, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh my goodness, where do I see myself in 5 years? I would love to have my own cafe where it is focused on health and nutrition, because that is my passion and my goal, especially with my life story. I want a cafe that doubles also as a place where people can receive nutritional counseling as well. So, for example, let's say, I have a little, high blood pressure, and I know my doctor told me I needed to eat a little bit better. I know I can go right on over here. I don't know what I would name my cafe yet, but I'll go to said cafe. And I know that they have certified nutritionists there. I can get someone to give me some nutritional counseling, and they could advise me on what to eat as well too. And I can get something to eat there because I'm hungry. So that is what I would love to see myself doing in the next 5 years, is growing and building that dream and that passion.
Finally, where can people find more information about you and your cooking? Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Facebook, website?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram under Vegan Chef Noel. You can find me on Facebook under Chef Noel. You can go to my website, www.chefnoel.com, and I am in those three places.
Well, thank you, Noel, for joining me on this episode of Let's Chat With.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you and all that you do for the vegan community.